Which came first, Abraham Lincoln or onion rings? The answer will shock you. The wrong inventor was blamed, a clumsy cook created a masterpiece, and the true story of this crunchy snack has an ending you would never predict. The truth is a terrible accident happened in the kitchen, and it was that mistake that gave us what many consider the best sidekick to a burger. You'll never guess how it all happened. Join me as we uncover the complete history of onion rings. The story of onion rings begins long before fast food joints and long before the United States. In 1802, a British chef and food writer named John Maillard published a cookbook called The Art of Cookery Made Easy and Refined. There, he described a recipe called fried onions with Parmesan cheese, instructing cooks to slice the onions into half-inch rings, dredge them in a batter of flour, cream, and Parmesan cheese, then deep fry them in hot lard, and serve them with a sauce of melted butter and mustard. This was a sophisticated dish for its time, more likely found on a nobleman's table than on a diner counter. And it does make sense that onion rings might have existed even before that. People in India had been deep frying pakoras since at least the 16th century, and the Japanese perfected the technique in their iconic tempura. The idea of battering vegetables was already well established. Maillard's contribution was simply applying that technique to the specific case of the humble onion. Maillard's recipe remained obscure for over 100 years. Until, in the 1930s in the United States, a kitchen mishap would change everything. The story goes that a clumsy cook accidentally knocked some onion slices into a bowl of flour. Instead of throwing them away, he decided to toss the breaded rings into the fryer just to see what would happen. The result was a crispy, flavorful snack that he immediately took to his boss to try. That boss was Royce Haley, the manager of the famous pig stand restaurant chain in Dallas, Texas. Haley loved the invention on the spot and added it to the menu. The pig stand chain was already innovative. It introduced the first neon signs, the first air-conditioned dining room, the first fried chicken sandwich, and the famous Texas toast. And in 1931, Royce Haley himself invented the drive-thru system. It was this combination of genius that made the onion rings truly take off. If you research the origin of onion rings, you'll probably find someone claiming that Royce Haley or the pig stand chain invented them. And historically, that claim does hold water, but it's incomplete. The truth is that the chain was responsible for popularizing onion rings nationwide through its drive-ins. However, food historians admit there's no primary source evidence linking pig stand to the invention. Other sources show that onion rings were already being served in southern U.S. restaurants in the 1920s, and there's even a recipe from legendary cook Fanny dating back to 1908. What is known is that pig stand was fantastic at marketing. During World War II, menus were simple, and the growing popularity of drive-ins only increased the snack's presence. So, pig stand gets the credit for turning a lost recipe from the history books into a genuine mass-market phenomenon. The Kirby's pig stand chain grew, and at its peak in the 1940s, it had over 100 locations spread across the United States. So, while pig stand may not have been the first to ever fry onions in batter, it was the one that introduced the onion ring to the American public and, consequently, to the world. Before it became a fast food staple, onion rings were actually served as an accompaniment to steak in more traditional restaurants. But it was in the 1950s and 1960s that the scenario began to change. In 1955, a man named Sam Quigley started perfecting hand-cut, hand-breaded onion ring recipes in Nebraska and sold them out of his own storefront. By 1959, he founded Sam's Onions, a brand that produced frozen, breaded onion rings. That was the starting point for the mass production of the snack. If Sam Quigley was the one who industrialized and froze the onion rings, the fast food chains were the ones responsible for making them a worldwide hit. The A&W chain, famous for its root beer and car hops, was one of the first to include onion rings on its fixed menu in the 1960s. After that, it became standard, onion rings served in paper cones alongside a classic milkshake and burger, a true ode to American culture. The science: why onion rings are so sweet. The frying process chemically transforms the onion. Onions contain a sulfur compound called propanethyl S-oxide, the very compound that makes your eyes water when you cut an onion. However, when heated during frying, This compound decomposes into bispropanol disulfide. This produces the slightly sweet flavor and characteristic aroma of onion rings. During both World War I and World War II, onions were easier to grow and store than many other vegetables. As a result, onion-based dishes became incredibly popular, and many American soldiers had their first taste of onion rings on the battlefields of Europe. National Onion Rings Day, June 22nd in the US, is dedicated to this iconic snack. The holiday was officially created in 2006 by a fan named Jeremy Kolb, who got the idea after he proposed to a coworker using an onion ring as a joke, but still a memorable one. The crunchiest world record. While Guinness doesn't have a specific category for largest onion ring, the record for the largest onion is over 18 pounds, weighing in at a whopping 8.9 kilograms, 19.7 pounds. Just imagine the size of the rings you could get from that. The origin of the name French fried onions. In the early 20th century, onion rings were often called French fried onions. This happened because the method of deep frying food was primarily associated with French cuisine. A cheesy masterpiece, that 1802 recipe included Parmesan cheese in the batter. It may be time for a revival. So, the next time you bite into a crispy onion ring, remember, you're not just eating a snack. You're tasting over 200 years of history that began in a British kitchen, was ignored for decades, was reborn by accident in the hands of a clumsy Texas cook, was popularized by an innovative drive-in chain, industrialized by an entrepreneur from Nebraska, and finally conquered the world through fast food. Onion rings traveled across continents and cuisines, survived wars, and became the ultimate sidekick to your burger. Now I want to know from you, are you on team breaded onion rings or beer battered? Classic or spicy? Have you ever tried a different version? And most importantly, do you believe Pig Stand invented them, or was it a clumsy cook's lucky accident? Tell us in the comments. If you enjoyed this crunchy, full of twists story, hit that like button to help the channel grow. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe now and ring the bell because every week a new story is coming out of the kitchen. See you on the next plate.